I got to be honest. There's one person in the National Football League right now that moves the needle, and he's a third-string quarterback. Shedeur Sanders. Oh, in light of the comments he just made, I made a video on it yesterday afternoon where he was talking about other quarterbacks around the league compared to him. Now, I ain't going to lie to you. After seeing Kyler Murray last night, I'm like, you know, if I'm Arizona, I'd flip a fifth over there and see what you got. I don't think I'm not a Kyler Murray guy, never have been, so and I don't love his size.
Shedeur Sanders fires off bold remarks. Deion tosses in some extra gasoline. And suddenly Kevin Stefansky, the coach famous for pressers that sound like bedtime stories, snaps. But instead of cooling things down, he fans the flames, claiming he's ready to suit up himself. Not coach, play. It's either a midlife crisis or the strangest NFL comeback pitch ever floated. Either way, the spectacle has fans glued to their screens, wondering what on earth they're watching unfold in Cleveland.
It looked like Kevin Stefanski had some things to say about Shedeur Sanders in his press conference today. Well, it looked like the moment everybody has been waiting for has arrived. That is Kevin Stefanski finally uttering Shedeur Sanders' name. Now, we know Shedeur Sanders made it apparent in his business to speak about his current state with the Browns yesterday.
If you're enjoying, please subscribe Shedeur Sanders to the channel. It helps more than you think. Well. It finally happened. Kevin Stefansky, the guy who makes every press conference feel like a hostage tape, finally uttered the magic words, Shedeur Sanders. He hesitated like someone being pressed for nuclear launch codes, but nope, it was just about football. When a head coach with the charisma of unsalted oatmeal finally says your name out loud, you can bet the air's about to sizzle. Something big is brewing, and Cleveland's about to feel the heat.
I tell you, man, Shedeur Sanders did not mince words today when he was interviewed by his locker the day after practice. Shedeur Sanders let it be known to the world and to Kevin Stefanski and to the Cleveland Browns organization that he's ready right now and he's ready to play. And what do I get from that, man? It seems like Shedeur Sanders is applying a lot of pressure to that Cleveland Browns organization, and he's just waiting for his chance. But he said, look, I'm ready to play, and I'm ready to play right now.
Shedeur had already planted his flag. He essentially told the world he's ready to play, ready to start, ready to drag Cleveland out of its yearly spiral into heartbreak. And the fans devoured every word. Because honestly, if you're a Browns supporter, you'll cling to just about anything. A rookie quarterback, a 40-year-old veteran, maybe even a golden retriever under center. Doesn't matter who it is, as long as somebody swears they won't implode by the time December rolls around.
A great quote where he said, I've never sat on the bench and said, I learned a lot today.
Yeah.
Do you agree with him on that? What were your thoughts when he said that?
Everybody perspective, so you know, that's not nothing, you know, in my place to answer. You know, that's nothing I can't answer. I know if you see the quarterback play in the league right now, I know I'm capable of doing better than that.
Here's where it really gets interesting. Instead of delivering clarity, fire, or even a glimmer of hope, Stefanski trotted out pure corporate jargon. He sounded less like an NFL coach and more like a regional manager explaining why your raise is still pending. Oh, Shedeur's working hard. He's close. He's improving daily. We're excited about his progress. It was HR speak dressed up as football talk.
Shedeur Sanders says he feels better. He can play better than other starting quarterbacks. I did this video yesterday afternoon. If you see the quarterback play in the league right now, I know I am capable of doing better than that. Well, that leads us to Mary Kay Cabot, and here's the problem, folks. Do you think other teams in the National Football League see this and they're like, yeah, that's what I want to have to deal with if I have a backup quarterback. I want my coach to have to answer questions for things that my backup quarterback is saying. I keep telling folks, unfortunately, Sanders and Sanders fans right now are hurting Sanders more than anybody else.
Translation: I'm going to keep playing Grandpa Joe Flacco until the wheels literally fall off. And maybe then, maybe, Shedeur will get a chance to throw a pass. Let's pause here to appreciate the absurdity. Shedeur Sanders, a guy with enough talent to at least get fans dreaming of something new, has been warming the bench like it's his full-time career. Meanwhile, Joe Flacco, whose highlight reel now doubles as a retirement video, is out there taking snaps as if 2012 just happened yesterday. If this isn't football malpractice, I don't know what is. And it's not just Shedeur. Poor Dylan Gabriel's collecting dust on the bench too. At this point, the Browns might as well start recruiting guys from the stands, refusing to admit it's outdated even while everyone else is streaming 8K holograms on their iPhones. To Stefanski, Joe Flacco isn't old. He's experienced. He's not slow. He's deliberate, and he's not washed. He's battle-tested. Spin it however you want, Kevin, but we all know the truth. This man creaks when he bends down to tie his cleats. Now here's where it gets delicious. Fans are starting to whisper that maybe, just maybe, Shedeur needs to do what Angel Reese did in the WNBA. Demand an exit. Make some noise, throw some...
For whatever reason, is gun-ho about playing 40-year-old Joe Flacco. Now, if they feel like they can make it to the Super Bowl, make it to the playoffs with him, so be it. But do I feel like that's the best situation for Shedeur as a player? No. I feel like Shedeur Sanders need to get traded, need to go to another team, need to somehow, some way, figure out a way to get out of this Cleveland Brown contract. Hell, we just seen Angel Reese get out of hers in Chicago, right? So maybe Shedeur Sanders need to make some noise, get the hell out of his contract, throw people under the bus, make the team trade you.
Throw some shade, burn the bridge, then dance on the ashes. Because if Stefanski won't play him, maybe another team will. The NFL is full of desperate franchises, and Shedeur would look mighty fine in a jersey that isn't associated with decades of tragedy. And can you blame him? Imagine being stuck behind Joe Flacco in 2025. That's like getting drafted into the NBA and being told you can't play until the team's current star. Vince Carter retires, oh wait, he already did years ago. It's the kind of timeline that makes you question whether you accidentally signed up for the wrong sport. But Stefanski doesn't care about optics. He's doubling down, reminding everyone that quarterback development is a process. Some guys start right away, some sit for years, blah blah blah. Everyone's working hard. Everyone's improving. It's like asking your boss if you're getting a raise and he replies, "We value all our employees equally." Great, Kevin, but who's actually getting the check? Meanwhile, fans are boiling over. Social media is split right down the middle. Half are begging Stefanski to unleash Shedeur before the season is wasted. The other half are terrified he'll get destroyed behind Cleveland's offensive line, which has more holes than a pair of $3 socks.
I just wanted to come on here and say, man, like, it's a lot of trashness going around in the NFL right now for my man Shedeur to not be getting no run and no playtime somewhere. All I'm saying is, like, it's a lot of trash around the NFL. Like, it's a lot of horrible quarterback play. Like, it's a lot of just mediocre teams. Like, when y'all drafted that boy in the 5th round, like, I felt like y'all had these teams, like, y'all knew what y'all was doing.
Either way, everyone agrees on one thing. This is peak Browns chaos, and no one does chaos like Cleveland. And you have to admit, Stefanski's timing is impeccable. Just as Shedeur declares he's ready, Stefanski responds like a man who's been dared to jump into a swimming pool, but insists on dipping his toes in first. He's close. He's improving. We're happy with his progress. Translation: Shedeur could literally walk on water and Stefanski would still say, "We'll evaluate him next week." Let's talk about Flacco for a second, because this is where the comedy truly lies. Cleveland fans are being asked to believe that a quarterback who peaked during the Obama administration is their ticket to glory. Sure, the Corolla runs, but at some point you have to admit you're holding up traffic. And what about Deion Sanders? You think Coach Prime's going to stay quiet while his son's career gets parked in the Cleveland garage, like an unused treadmill? Oh no, Deion doesn't do quiet. The man's probably already drawing up a plan to storm Berea with sunglasses, a cowboy hat, and a marching band just to get Stefanski's attention. If Stefanski thought the media was bad, wait until Deion starts cooking.
Shedeur Sanders was drafted in the 5th round, 144th overall. And we know that he's the 3rd string quarterback on the depth chart. And he's the emergency quarterback every week since week 1, leading up to week 3, probably going into week 4. He's going to be the emergency quarterback as well. And with that being said, he's listed on the inactive roster. But we've heard Shedeur Sanders a couple days ago. We did a show. He talked about, the camaraderie he got with the guys on the scout team and the practice squad, where he's building connections and he's building continuity with his receivers.
The tension is real. On one side, you've got a coach clinging to Flacco like it's his emotional support quarterback. On the other, you've got a rookie QB who's practically begging to prove himself. And in the middle, fans who've suffered through enough heartbreak to write a Shakespearean tragedy. At this point, the Browns' quarterback situation feels less like football and more like a reality show. You've got the veteran who won't quit, the rookie desperate for screen time, and the coach who thinks vague motivational phrases will keep everyone happy. All that's missing is a rose ceremony and dramatic background music. But here's the wild part. Stefansky didn't just stop at dodging questions about Shedeur. And you know what? He's right. Shedeur would probably be starting for half the teams in the league right now. The Giants are throwing Jackson Dart out there like he's their savior, and Stefansky is acting like Shedeur needs another 6 months of yoga before he's ready. Newsflash. Rookies don't get better sitting on the bench watching Flacco slowly fossilize. They get better by actually playing, and that's the kicker, isn't it? Every rookie QB comes with risk. Some succeed instantly, some crash and burn, and some spend a year learning.
That's not your line, right? Your line is just to say, hey, I'm here trying to get better, I'll be ready. I'm just going to try and do my best. You got to kind of get better in silence. And you have to realize that sometimes you got reporters just sitting around, and they'll put a camera in your face, you think they're your friend, you feel good because you're getting some attention, because you're not the starting quarterback, and you just say stuff, not realizing that it blows up to stuff like this. And the last time we saw him in the playoff, in the preseason, against guys that are probably, pumping gas right now, he didn't look so good.
But Stefanski is treating this like Shedeur came out of the draft with a fragile, do not open until 2027 sticker. Every time he's asked, the answer sounds like a corporate training video. We're developing our young talent. We're focused on long-term growth. Long-term growth. Buddy, this is Cleveland. Fans don't do long-term growth. They do short-term suffering. Meanwhile, the NFL isn't waiting around. Across the league, teams are tossing rookies into the fire like marshmallows. And some of them are actually cooking up wins. The Giants just shoved Jackson Dart into the spotlight. Other franchises have no problem letting rookies learn the hard way. But Stefanski? He's standing there like a helicopter parent terrified Shedeur might scrape his knee. Newsflash, football is a contact sport. Sure, Kevin, pour yourself another bowl of cereal with that 10-day-old carton and tell us how veteran it tastes. Shedeur's situation is reaching the point where trade rumors are starting to sound more like rescue missions. Fans are fantasizing about him going somewhere, anywhere else. A place where a coach might actually let him compete. A place where he doesn't have to pretend to be excited about watching Joe Flacco wobble around the field like a malfunctioning Roomba.
I mean, what difference does it make? He already, Shedeur, won the 2 damn competitions that existed and you still didn't care. You just want to go with Dylan, and it's not because. It is not because Dylan is the preference for Stefanski. It is because the culture in Cleveland doesn't support a black franchise QB long-term at the #1 spot, drafted #1 or drafted 144. They thought they could pigeonhole him there, which was ridiculous, which means they don't know talent and they don't give a damn about it.
The NFL doesn't usually work that way. But imagine the headlines if Shedeur pulled it off. He'd go from benched rookie to trailblazing disruptor overnight. The kid who forced his way out of Cleveland might actually be the best thing that could happen to him. And don't think Deion Sanders hasn't noticed. Deion lives for this kind of drama. If he could find a way to insert himself into every press conference, he would. You can practically see him shaking his head already. His world. If you have a Ferrari, you don't leave it in the garage while you keep driving your rusty pickup truck. But Stefanski? He's out here showing off the rusty pickup to the neighborhood while the Ferrari gathers dust under a tarp. Of course, Stefanski isn't dumb. He knows saying too much could cause a meltdown. Translation, stop asking me about him, I'm still not putting him in. It's genius in a way. He answers every question without actually saying a single thing. He could run for office tomorrow with that skill set. Imagine his campaign slogan, Kevin Stefanski, providing progress without promises since 2020.
Which brings me finally to Shedeur Sanders.
a favorite subject of mine because he's a favorite player of mine without a real home, without a real opportunity, without real hope that he so deserves. Again, he should have been the first overall pick in the draft. My friend Mel Kiper had him ranked above Cam Ward, as did I. First overall pick to Tennessee. Right now, should have been Shedeur starting for the Tennessee Titans as we speak.
But here's the thing, fans aren't buying it anymore. Cleveland has seen this movie before. Every year it's the same story. Quarterback controversy, vague promises, heartbreak by midseason, and a fan base questioning why they keep showing up. This time, though, the script has a twist. Shedeur Sanders isn't just some random rookie. He's the son of Deion Sanders. That name alone carries weight and the media won't let it go. And you can bet other teams are circling like vultures. Somewhere out there, a GM is already daydreaming about trading for Shedeur just to stick it to Cleveland. Imagine him in New England, where they're desperate for a quarterback. Or Atlanta, desperate for literally anything exciting. Or even Dallas, where Jerry Jones would sell his yacht just to reunite Deion's kid with a star on his helmet. The possibilities are endless, and every single one feels more exciting than sit behind Flacco. And by the time Shedeur finally gets a snap, the Browns will probably be eliminated from playoff contention, and fans will be wondering why they didn't try it sooner. It's almost comical how Stefanski managed to turn a routine press conference into a soap opera. Reporters lobbed him softballs, and he responded with answers so dry they could dehydrate a cactus. He even managed to sneak in a rant about offensive line challenges, like that was going to distract people from the real story. Nice try, Kevin.
Ready to be able to help you. Yeah, I would characterize it disappointed. I think he's working very, very hard. He's getting really close.
Did you get any word from the NFL on that play that you turned in?
I did. That should have been a penalty, which we all thought in the moment.
Interior pressure, specifically a part of a more steep challenge for certain quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think pressure in general is hard for quarterbacks, wherever it comes from. All quarterbacks, I will say the interior-wise, you can get home quicker just by the distance you have to travel as opposed to the edge. So that all teams try to keep that interior of the pocket clean.
Nobody's tuning in for a TED Talk on interior pass rush. They want to know when Shedeur is touching the football. And let's not forget the cherry on top. Flacco isn't even playing well enough to justify all this loyalty. If he were lighting up defenses, maybe fans could stomach it. But no. Watching Flacco at this stage is like watching someone try to run Windows XP on a modern laptop. The effort is there, but the system just can't keep up. And yet, Stefansky stares at him like he's the answer to every problem. The Browns' offense has been sluggish. The first quarters are lifeless and fans are screaming for a spark. Nobody asked about your offensive linemen, Kevin. Nobody asked about your special teams gunners. The question was about Shedeur, but Stefansky deflected so smoothly, you'd think he was auditioning for a job in public relations. The irony is, every time Stefansky avoids giving Shedeur credit, the story only grows bigger. If he had just said, yeah, the kid looks good, maybe the media would have moved on.
I'm mistaken that my love for Shedeur Sanders is bigger than Shedeur, is deeper than Shedeur. It's about us, family. Let's just be real. You guys see that. It's about us, man. Shedeur, you need to say something. No more cute words. No more like 4 days ago when you had that viral press conference where you referenced the quarterback play in the NFL sucks and you probably could play for those teams as well. And bro, you sugarcoating things too much. You are your daddy's son, and that's the issue. We love Coach Prime. Coach Prime is so gifted, they couldn't ignore Coach Prime the way they ignored.
Instead, his refusal to acknowledge it turns every press conference into a circus. And the more he downplays it, the more people believe he's hiding something. At this point, the Browns' quarterback room feels like an episode of Survivor. You've got Joe Flacco, the seasoned veteran who's just trying to outlast everyone else. Meanwhile, Kevin Stefanski plays the role of host, dragging out the suspense for no reason other than his own amusement. And the fans? They're the ones stuck watching every week hoping something changes. But deep down, they know the truth. Cleveland doesn't do happy endings. Cleveland does heartbreak, chaos, and bizarre loyalty to quarterbacks who should have retired when flip phones were still cool.